Welcome back to Kulik Family Farm. Today I'm going to show you what we have been planting in our little grow room down in our basement. We've got onions, asparagus, celery, and more. If you're interested in seeing how things are growing, stick around. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. On this day, I had some helpers down in the basement with me, so it got a little noisy. I had planted kale in the first 2 rows, 4 rows of broccoli, followed by 2 different varieties of basil. I had lemon basil and Genovese basil. And in the last 2 rows, I planted Little Caesar lettuce. My microgreen brassica mix has sprouted. So I'm going to give this a good soaking. Most of the things that I planted over here germinated too. So these are all kale on the end, and then it's broccoli. None of the lemon basil or the Genovese basil have sprouted, but the lettuce did. So hopefully, well, they're coming. You can see them. Like, there's a little green right there. There's a sprout. They're coming. So I'm going to keep the humidity dome on for now. And once the sprouts here get big enough, you can actually water this from the bottom. So the roots will come through the bottom here. They've got slits. So once they get long enough to reach the bottom of this tray, then you can pour water into the bottom and they'll just feed from the bottom. All right, so these were my 2 random seeds that germinated. I'm pretty sure that this one is a butternut squash, and I am pretty positive that this one is a watermelon. So I'm gonna keep watering these. I might up-pot them one more time, but they're gonna have to stay in here until about June, so we'll see how they do. Normally, watermelon do not like to be transplanted when their roots are pretty well established. So we'll just have to kind of see how they do. And this is all of my asparagus. There were only a few that didn't germinate, and some of them were late. Like this one's significantly smaller than these other ones. And then I had 2 entire rows of my celery that did not germinate. 2.5, I guess. But that's celery back there. Oh, and there's some mysterious plant there too. We'll have to see what that one comes up as. And then these are our onions. They're doing pretty well. This, I'm not sure what happened over here with this seed starter. I've got 1 cell of bee balm that did really good, and none of the rest of it came up. So I just don't know if it's maybe not warm enough down here. And I had some of these tomato plants come up, but they're looking pretty sad. I did already water this one, so I think these ones on the far right are tipped over because of the watering, but I don't know. We'll just wait and see. I may have to replant, and that's not the end of the world. I've still got time. I kind of planted early, and it's cool in our basement because we aren't running the pellet stove anymore. I am down in my grow room today, and I'm sorry if this is a little dark. I had to turn my grow lights off because it makes everything look purple or kind of pinkish, and it's really overcast outside today. And Colin's playing down here, so sorry for the noise level. These are the Spanish yellow, and these are the, I don't know the exact variety, but it says red onion, so I was right. So we did a couple of things here, just experimenting wise. So basically, I'll post a picture here of how I started my seeds. I might have some clips that I'll add into, but I started them in big flat trays and just kind of lightly overseeded everything. And then once all the onions had sprouted, I transplanted them into these cells, which I'll have a link to in the description box below if you want to check those out. They seem like a really good deal, and they're holding up to the uses that I put them up to. So then we separated them out into those cells. So I had initially started single onion plantings, and it was just taking forever. And then I had seen Charles Dowding multi-sows his onion seeds probably into trays a little bit smaller than this, maybe like a 72 cell tray. What he said is that what he finds is when he multi-sows, you know, up to 4 or 5 onions per cell, you get medium-sized onions that grow apart from each other as the bulbs grow, getting almost the same amount of onions, but in significantly smaller space. So I wanted to see if I could notice a difference between planting multi-sown, as I did in these plugs, or single plantings. So I'm gonna have you follow along with me in our garden as the season progresses, but you can see, I mean, I don't know that there's necessarily a difference in the growth at this point. I mean, this onion right here looks pretty hardy. I would say it's similar to these singular growth ones, but maybe they are a smidgen taller, I would say. But I'm going through and cutting all of my onions down. You cut down your onion tops, you can save them and use them similar to chives, and it'll put more development into the bulb. But we are getting close to the time when we will plant these outside, so I'm not going to up pot these again. They're doing fine. I'm gonna just keep working on cutting my onions down. So they'll go from this down to similar to this. And I do have something rogue growing over here that I might consider pulling out and up potting.